All right, make sure that we're live. Okay, it says we're live. And we are live. Good. All right, make sure that we're live. Cut that. All right, we're live at least on the tubes of you. All right, this is going to be funny. I'm cracking myself up just thinking about it. Oh, how can I do this? I don't want you to be able to see it. How do I make this scene without you being able to see it? I don't know if I can. Can you still hear me? And now I lost you. How did I lose you? Oh, because I'm in a different scene. That's why. Hold on. Oh, man, I am losing my mind. I'm going to have to go back. Whoops, not that one.
I hate to be the one to tell you. It's been gone a long time.
What has? Oh, what's been gone? Someone has already done this?
Your mind.
Oh, yes, I absolutely agree. Except, you see, I actually have I have two different versions of this, and the other one is just as funny. Let's see. I want to duplicate this one, so all I should have to no, where is it? New scene. Can you hear me still?
Yep, I still hear you.
Okay. Here's the second one. Whoops.
All right. And let me know when it's safe for me to look again.
Okay. Actually, I need to get rid of this one because I actually have a second one. Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Okay, you could look.
Oh my God. Makes you into pure energy.
Makes you, yeah. So this is going to be our sponsor this week.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
So if you want to do the copy for it, that's fine. I've kind of got something in mind, but you can do it as well if you want.
You know, you've put so much work into this. Clearly, if you have something in mind, you should do it. Okay. And I wish music copyright wasn't a thing, because you know what 80s song we would have to put in the background.
Oh, tell me.
The one where they sound sampled from Star Trek, Leonard Nimoy as Spock saying "pure energy, pure energy."
No, I don't know that song.
Oh, hold on. I will find. I can't.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well, you find that while I'm trying to get this going here. Run scene. Okay. Run scene. New scene. Wow, it's hot in here.
Oh, it was Information Society. What's on your mind?
Okay, I got him in there.
Awesome.
All right, it looks like
You got a tricorder mind.
everything is working. Let's make sure the closing part is working.
2 weirdos, 1 starship.
Okay. Oh. Boy, I need a fan in here. Except then that would be picked up. But
Oh, I thought you meant someone that would, you'd say something and they'd go, yay!
just as I was getting ready to start is when I thought of this, and I put the whole thing together in like 5 minutes. Did a
Very
quick
well done.
chat GPT image, and it gave me 2. I only asked it for 1, and it gave me, the other thing I was thinking about was having an image of not necessarily Data or someone, but someone from Next Gen, or at least a generic Next Gen crewman, holding up the box of cereal and like gesturing to it with a big smile on his face. The taste can't be, I got a great tagline. The taste can't be replicated.
Oh my God. Yes.
I know I am not going to get through this without cracking up, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know what to do.
You have to soldier on.
I do. I really, really do. All right. Let me move some stuff out of the way here.
So you know how they did the Star Trek shorts between seasons of Discovery?
Yes.
And which, by the way, every single one of those was brilliant.
Yes, they were. Especially when they started using Strange New Worlds, which we're going to briefly talk about the last episode that happened. I don't know how you felt about it, but don't tell me. I have my own thoughts about it.
Yep. I'll keep my thoughts to myself until it's time, and then I will have plenty of thoughts for you.
Okay.
But yeah, in the Star Trek shorts, there's one episode where there's like a cereal commercial in it.
Oh, really? I don't remember seeing that.
There's something about cereal, and it's been so long since I've seen the shorts that I can't remember. But yeah. Anyhow, so it's totally appropriate that you've come up with some Star Trek cereal.
I swear to God, my mind literally scares the shit out of me sometimes. It really, really does.
Well, I'm okay with your mind, but that's only because I never have to be in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a prison of my own making.
We all have our own cross to bear.
We do. Mine is just really big and weird. And it's not even shaped like a cross, which is the oddest part about it.
Yeah, I don't think mine's shaped like a cross either.
Okay, why don't you do the intro when we get to that? And then we'll do the intro theme and all that. And the intro is basically, let me bring up the show notes. I don't need to be looking at the YouTube part of it. It's just Warp Speed Weirdos episode 3, Those Old Scientists. And then into the music for the intro. And then coming out of that, I'll start us off. And then, you and I will get together and we'll just let the conversation go where it's going to go.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, number one, I need to make this smaller so that I don't have to look all the way across the screen. I swear I should have done cartoon backgrounds, voice backgrounds. It's incredible.
There's still time.
I know, there really is. Though they don't make cartoons like that anymore. The old Rocky and Bullwinkle and, where you'd have the weird sounding announcers and stuff in the background. Anyway, I'm getting totally off topic. All right, so I'm going to go to the splash page and then I'll come into you. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Warp Speed
Oh,
Weirdos.
not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not until
Damn
I
it.
Bring your camera up.
Oh, sorry.
All right, you ready?
Yep. Warp Speed Weirdos, Episode 3, Those Old Scientists. Engage.
You got a tricorder mind. I got a Klingon grin. Warp speed weirdos have a unique core. Two weirdos go all in. Warp speed weirdos watch the Trekkies soar. Deep cut, full tilt, begin. Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, and welcome everyone to Warp Speed Weirdos number 3. And I guarantee, for various reasons, this is going to be a very, very odd episode. All right, brief synopsis. Star Trek, the original series, which of course was from 1966 to 1969, followed the 5-year mission that turned out to be 3 of the Federation starship USS Enterprise NCC 1701 and its crew as they explore the galaxy, seek out new life and civilizations, and uphold Federation ideals in the 23rd century. Created by Gene Roddenberry, the show was built around the dynamic trio. Captain James T. Kirk, sometimes known as James R. Kirk, his logical first officer, Spock, and
Sometimes known as Spock.
Spock. So, and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, with a supporting bridge crew that became iconic in sci-fi history. Jeff, how are you? Of course. Whoops. Oh, darn it. I'm so excited for the show. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing great. And I think all you really needed to do was reverse the polarity on the dilithium intermix. And I would have just popped right up.
All right. Remember that, because after we're done recording, there's something I need to talk to you about. Okay? Now.
Oh, do I have to get another ointment?
No, you do
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Or you can just borrow mine. I've got plenty. For pretty much any ailment you might have. Though I would say wash the applicator first.
Well, that just kind of goes with that saying, but it's important to say it anyhow.
Well, you don't want to, we're just gonna go right past that right now.
I do what I want.
I do what I want. Darn it, it's cool when he does it too. Anyway, Jeff, you are going to be so excited about this because we have a sponsor this week.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
I know.
I'm glad that it only took 2 episodes before a company realized how valuable we are as a property, and we're willing to shell out good credits for
Gold Press Platinum.
Yeah, now that's even more valuable than credits.
That's all I'm taking. Yeah, Federation credits. I want Gold Press Platinum. Anyway, our sponsor for this week is Phaser Flakes, the breakfast cereal that makes you into pure energy, fortified with vitamins and warp speed goodness. And there's 2 flavors. This is the chocolate flavor. Here's the strawberry flavor. Okay. It's good stuff. Please check your grocery store for Phaser Flakes. You will enjoy it. It's the taste that can't be replicated.
That's true.
All right. Wow. Let's talk about the original series. All we're going to go into today, and we went really long last episode.
We did. We were
did.
still finding our footing.
Right. So
bless our hearts.
And bless our warp core hearts. This episode should be hopefully a little shorter, and more action packed. And I think so far it's hitting the mark. So,
we should just wrap up right now while we're ahead.
I know. Good night, everybody. We're going to talk about the first season. Do a really, really brief talk. I mean brief on each of the episodes. There were 29 episodes, I think, in the first season. And then we're going to wrap it up with our 5 favorite and least favorite episodes in that season. So again, this is only season 1. All right. So real briefly, let's talk about, excuse me, who the main cast, and we're going to go back and forth. You're on the show notes, right?
We have show notes? Yes,
We do.
Of course I am.
Okay, good. First, of course, was William Shatner as Captain James T. Kirk, the commanding officer.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Oh,
you.
and now I get it. I get it.
Okay. Yeah, you
then
can
there's
tell
Leonard
we are-
Nimoy.
Yeah.
Once again, bless our hearts.
Yeah.
And he played Mr. Spock, the Vulcan first officer and science officer.
And after that, there was DeForest Kelly, Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, chief medical officer.
And James Doohan, who played Montgomery Scott, he was the chief engineer and apparently also the resident alcoholic.
Yeah, with only 4 fingers on one hand. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's a
Nikhil-
warp core issue right there.
That is a warp core issue. Nichelle Nichols, who played Nyota Uhura, the communications officer.
Mm-hmm. George Takai, who played Hikaru Sulu, and he was the helmsman, the navigator, but earlier he was what was he?
Botanist.
Thank you, the botanist.
Yeah. Not that, I geek out on stuff like this. Next up, Walter Koenig, who played Pavel Chekhov, the navigator, and also was in security. He was introduced in season 2, kind of the Davy Jones character, which is a whole nother thing that we could talk about, but not today.
Yeah, and
he
when you
played
say kind of, you mean literally.
Literally, yes. That is a literal interpretation of why Chekhov was introduced in the series.
Yes, and then rounding out our main cast, we have Majel Barrett, and she played Nurse Christine Chappell. And although in the original pilot, she was number 1.
She was. Real quick note, the original unaired pilot, The Cage, which starred Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike, and as you said, Majel Barrett as number 1. Most of that footage was later reused in the 2-part episode, The Menagerie, which also occurred during the first season. All right. There were 2 pilots made. There was, of course, The Cage, which I just talked about. And then there was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was, even as a pilot, was then introduced and used for season 1.
Yes. And I'm assuming for the first time viewers, that was actually a little weird because they had 2 episodes that had been produced after this.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 episodes that had been produced after it had been picked up as an actual series. They had more funding. They made some changes. And then they get this episode that's very much in the vein of The Cage.
Yeah.
So different sets, different costumes. Yeah.
Yeah. Spock was very different in that original pilot. All right.
Yeah.
So weird. We're going to briefly talk about each one of the episodes from season 1. I'll start us off. The Man Trap. The crew encounters a shape-shifting, salt-sucking creature that's stalking the ship.
An interesting episode. I think actually a very weak choice for the first episode to air.
Yeah.
But clearly it worked because we got a couple seasons before people had saved the show.
Mm-hmm. So what was the next one?
Then we have Charlie X, and this is the one where we get a teenage boy with Trelane or Q-like powers. I'm really tying it all together there.
Yeah.
And he threatens the Enterprise crew, and he falls in love with Yeoman Rand. And this one, I think, would have been a much stronger first episode.
Yeah, I would agree.
Although I think a lot of people would have thought, oh, this is Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but there was a lot of episodes like that you could have kind of considered Twilight Zone-ish. in the first
Sure.
season.
Sure, but if you start with a Twilight Zone-ish episode,
Oh,
I
okay. Yeah,
think
it
the
kind of
audience would
sets the
have
tone.
thought that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The next one, of course, was Where No Man Has Gone Before, which we had already talked about. The one after that, The Naked Time, a contagion removes inhibitions, causing crew members to act impulsively and dangerously. This also gave us a couple of famous scenes with Lieutenant Riley taking over engineering and almost spiraling the ship to its doom, and Sulu running through the corridors without a shirt, swinging a sword.
Mm-hmm.
A fun episode.
A fun episode.
Real consequences.
And also gave us a nice setup for a silly second episode for Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yes.
And which was what, The Naked Now?
The Naked Now.
And then, of course, a great fodder for Lower Decks.
so much so. You got the next one?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I do. The Enemy Within. This is the one where Kirk gets split into his good side and his evil side. And yeah. That's about all we can really say about that. It involved a lot of serious overacting by a certain member of the crew that's become a meme over the years. Yes, but in his defense, I think William Shatner actually did a really good job of portraying both these versions and making us be able to see that these are very distinct characters.
Yes, I would agree with that. The next episode, go ahead.
Nope, that's it. Just oof.
Oh, okay. The next episode, excuse me, Mudd's Women. Conman Harry Mudd trades women for profit. The crew must choose between lust and survival. I did not write the synopsis, by the way.
I'm glad.
Straight out of Wikipedia, because as I'm reading that, I'm kind of like, wow, that's really bad. But it is somewhat accurate.
Well, it's accurate on one level, but it's not accurate for what the episode actually was about. And yeah.
But it was a good episode.
It was a good episode. And this is where we get the introduction of Harry Mudd, and who is the one of the only recurring guest stars on the show. The other recurring guest stars are Klingons.
That's not necessarily true, but we will go into that in a little bit.
Okay.
There's a story that I found in doing the research for this episode that I didn't realize. The next episode. Oh, no. You got the next episode. What's after that?
What Are Little Girls Made Of? And this is the one where Christine Chappell is reconnected with her former fiance. And then we learn a lot about what it means to be human and an android. Also, penis rocks.
Penis rocks. Oh, yes. And also Ted Cassidy, who was better known as playing Lurch in the Addams Family, is the main bad guy android in this episode. Yeah,
and he's great in everything he does.
He is. But unfortunately, because of his size, he was really kind of limited into what he could do.
Yeah, but at least he was a working actor. Good for him.
He was. The next episode was Miri. The crew lands on a planet where the adults are dead and the children are ageless feral onlys. This was another really kind of odd episode. And Rand had a big part in this episode. This is kind of where you find out that that she's got a thing for Kirk.
Yeah, I mean that was interesting, but the way we find out really that she has a thing for Kirk plays into some issues with age-related relationships that don't age well.
No, they really don't. But again, you have to remember this is a show from the 60s.
Yeah.
You got the next one, I think.
Dagger of the Mind. And this is where Kirk and Spock get to visit a rehabilitation colony. It's Star Trek Space Jail.
Yeah.
And it's for people that are insane. And then we get to see just how insane the asylum keeper actually is.
And this episode, we were talking just a little bit ago about how there was a reoccurring, not so much character, but a reoccurring actor.
Oh, no, reoccurring actors. Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Okay. So the guy that played the kind of insane guy that managed to get onto the ship, number one, he had nightmares from what I've been reading about this episode. It was really hard for him to let go of this after he did it. But then later on in, I think it was season 3, I'm trying to find it now. The Omega Glory. He then played the captain of the Constitution class starship whose entire crew got crystallized.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was the same actor.
Okay.
And so the one after that was the Corbomite maneuver. And this starred a very, very young, not Ron Howard. It was his brother, Clint.
Clint Howard. They
overdubbed his voice because, of course, I think he was like 4 or 5 years old when they recorded this episode. And, having an alien going, wow, I'm going to kill you all in like a 5-year-old voice probably would have, but no, that still could have been pretty good.
I think that would have been great. It's, I think it would have fit well with other things they did, like in The Cage, where you have women who are in makeup as alien men.
Yes.
And then you have other voices. So you have male sort of voices going along with that. And it was just a very kind of mentally disorienting thing as you're trying to parse through what it is you're seeing. Clint's voice could have worked, or it could have just been way too silly. I don't know.
Yeah, this was not, I think this was actually a pretty good episode. It kind of also dealt with fear and not so much nation building, but the kind of hyper, we're the best, and you guys are just kind of trash, because the small ship was part of a much huger ship that was dragging the Enterprise off to some planet where they were going to put the crew members on a Class M planet and then destroy the Enterprise. And they were from the first Federation. So, whoever the writer was like running out of ideas. He's like, well, we got the Romulan Empire, we got the Klingon Empire, we've got the Federation. What's left? First Federation. That's all I got.
Well, I have a thought on that, which might simply be because we have so much more Trek, and I think in many ways it's grown up since then.
Yeah,
it might have been a thing that the writer was doing to help, like, really establish that even though we think we're at the top of the food chain, like you were saying,
right,
that there's always someone bigger, better, and badder. And here's the Federation, supposed to be the biggest and baddest and most awesome. And they find out, no, there's another one before us. Yeah. And it was way bigger and badder.
Yes. Apex predators, definitely. Why don't you take the next 2?
That would be Menagerie Part 1 and Part 2. And this, as you pointed out, is the episode or episodes where they took the footage from the original pilot and put it together in a new episode or set of episodes. This is the one where Spock gets court-martialed for taking his former captain, Pike, who's been horribly maimed and is basically invalid now, and then hijacks the Enterprise to go to a planet that Pike wants to go to, where he can be.
No,
at
he
least,
doesn't want to go to it. He kept saying no.
Oh, that's right. Spock just wants to take him to it because he knows that's where Pike can live out the rest of his life, where he won't perceive himself as crippled and maimed.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's Spock's court-martial.
Yeah, and there were real consequences, as going to this planet was, I guess, for whatever reason, one of the only ways that you could receive a death sentence in the Federation.
Yeah. In the episode, they say it's the only death sentence still on the books. But then we have another episode later on where they talk about another death sentence that's on the books. So apparently
it's very
the writers didn't communicate that. Yeah.
Not that well. Let's see. The next one. The conscience of the king. Kirk suspects the traveling actor is a former mass murdering dictator. Well, actually, that should have said mass murdering governor, because that's who he was. He was the governor of a planet who was running out of food that Kirk and Riley, I believe, was it Riley's character?
I thought it was someone else, but it's been a long time since I've seen.
There were two people on the Enterprise that had been on that planet, including Kirk, that had almost gotten killed by the governor because they were running out of food. There wasn't going to be resupplies quickly enough to prevent mass starvation. So the governor of the world decided, well, let's just kill half the people, and that way there'll be enough food. Unfortunately for the governor, food arrived within a very short time period after he murdered half the planet. So, oops, my bad. So, it doesn't end well for anybody. Take the next one there, Jeff.
All right. Next up is Balance of Terror. This is the one that I like to call the Star Trek submarine warfare episode.
Yes.
And this is our first encounter with the Romulans. And this is where we also get the surprise that Romulans, at least in the TOS era, look exactly like Vulcans.
Yes. I don't know where they developed the head ridges after that, but okay.
The head ridges show up in Next Gen.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mark Leonard plays the captain of the Romulan ship.
This is Mark Leonard's first appearance in Star Trek, I believe.
Yes, and he goes on to be in 2 other episodes, once as a Klingon and once as a Vulcan. From what my research said. I don't remember him being a Klingon, but okay.
Yeah, he was a Klingon. I believe during the TOS era, Mark Leonard was the actor that, as a guest, appeared in more episodes than any other guest.
Yes. Next episode, Shore Leave. A planet offers perfect illusions, but the crew's fantasies become lethal traps. You got giant rabbits and all kinds of odd shenanigans going on.
Yeah, shenanigans is a key word here.
Shenanigans aplenty in that episode.
Yes.
Grab that next one. I don't want to talk about that one anymore.
Yeah. Okay, the Galileo 7. This is this is a crew of 7 on a shuttlecraft, which is the Galileo 7. So shuttlecraft 7 on the Enterprise. So you do get wordplay in there.
There were 7 people on board.
Yeah, there's 7 people on board, but this is also Galileo NCC 1701/7. It's shuttlecraft number 7 on the Enterprise.
Okay, well, I did not know that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you don't need to apologize. This is super exciting. I got to be here when you, so deep in Trek lore, just learned a new thing. That was super cool.
Yay!
Yay! You learn what you want. Anyhow, shuttlecraft crash lands on a planet. There's no way to use transporters to get people off the planet. And
the Enterprise doesn't know where they are.
And the Enterprise doesn't know where they are. That's the other part of it. And So now there's a ticking clock because Enterprise has to find the shuttlecraft uh, before their time runs out, and they have to leave to take emergency supplies to a planet that has to have them by a deadline.
Right.
And yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And, people throwing giant rocks and all that. And I believe this was also the first time we see Dr. Mbenga, who's part of Strange New Worlds.
Yes. Was that actually Dr. Mbenga? I don't remember now.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm going to go with yes. Yes, that was him.
Okay.
Next episode, another good one, The Squire of Gothos. A childlike alien with godlike powers toys with the crew on his world. And he's now God, I cannot remember the name of the actor that played the Squire of Gothos, who also later came back as a Klingon. But he plays this so well. As a matter of fact, now, have you ever seen the blooper reels for the original series?
No.
Okay. There's a scene in the blooper reels because in this episode, William Campbell. Yeah. Bing, that's his name. Came to it at the same time. Great minds think alike, or, at least our minds do.
Or they think at the same speed.
Yeah. Slowly.
All right. Now that I remember his name, William Campbell.
Koloth. Yes.
That was the Klingon he played.
Boy, we're just pulling stuff right out of our ass about Star
Trek.
Trek.
Pulled that one out of your butt. I pulled it out of the Googles.
Okay, good. At one point, he looks at Kirk and he says, "Are you challenging me to a duel?" And in the blooper, Shatner looks at him and says, "Yes, I'm challenging you to a duel." So if you can find the bloopers for the original series Star Trek, they're very, very funny. Grab that next one.
Arena. Oh, this is an interest. I'm just going to read the description that came from Wikipedia. Kirk is forced into single combat by ancient beings to settle a feud between two species. What an excellent way to describe an episode without actually getting it right.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Yeah. No, these are our friends who like to bet. Quatloos.
Yeah.
And
so it was the Gorn. Except it was a real slow-moving Gorn.
Oh, right. See, and I just mixed up two episodes also. Because the arena, the one
with the mines in the bubbles thing.
The mines in the bubbles, that's funny. It's been a long time since I've listened to, but arena. This is where we get the Gorn for the first time,
right? And he's so slow. He just kind of moves like this. It's actually kind of funny.
At the time, with what they had to work with, it was probably pretty impressive.
Yes.
I'm guessing for the odds of that day. I like how they ultimately reimagined what the Gorn are in Strange New Worlds.
Yes. And there's the outcome of this episode, without saying what it is very satisfying for looking at how humans at least can become in the future. And it would be nice to think that this is where we could go. The next episode is Tomorrow is Yesterday. The Enterprise is pulled back in time and must correct a temporal mistake. Now, am I mixing this up with the Gary 7 episode?
You are. And correcting a temporal mistake is not actually really correct, because
it's part of the episode though.
Well, they create a scenario.
It's not why they went back.
Yeah, the temporal mistake is a mistake that they could make, realize they could make, and
did make.
Well, the mistake would be if they had kept the fighter pilot captain. But when they looked up his history and they're like, oh, actually, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Then they figured out how to put him back at the right point in time. So they never actually made a temporal mistake. They just had this guy figured out, oh, we can't keep him, and figured out how to put him back.
And the way that they spin it is like, to me, one of the first examples of a Star Trek MacGuffin, except it was in the theory that they used. Well, if we just go back in time and then, matter cannot exist in the same place. Two pieces of matter cannot exist in the same place at the same time. So in theory, when they beamed him back into himself, everything should have exploded. That was my thinking on it. But okay, it's a Star Trek thing. They came up with a nifty solution to solve an issue, and that's what they did.
It was a very clever solution.
Yes.
Yeah, the science. Okay, none of the science is working.
No,
at all.
Not at all.
But
it's not sciencing. The science doesn't
it's not
science.
sciencing. But we do get some like the interrogation scene where Kirk has been captured and he's being interrogated. Love that scene.
Yeah. No, I work in space, but I'm from Iowa. And they're like, oh God, this guy's nuts. That is a good scene. The next episode is Court Martial. Kirk is court-martialed for negligence after a crewman dies. Evidence all points to him. And that's accurate, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And this actually gives us a character setup for the original Star Trek movie, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Does it?
Yeah. Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Doomsday Machine. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, that totally different episode. I was thinking, well, how does that work? How does that work in that episode? Okay. But it's still an okay episode in my opinion. Not one of the better ones. Oh, you got the next one. What am I doing?
The Return of the Archons, and this is where we get Landru.
Yeah.
And so there's a computer that controls the entire civilization, and everyone has to comply. And then, but then one day a year, they all get to go crazy and do anything they want. And
there was a whole movie franchise based on this concept.
Yeah, and there's a Lower Decks episode where they go back to the planet.
Yes, they do. Will you guys stop being taken over by Landru, for God's sake? That was really good. This next one, it's a classic. I actually don't particularly like this episode. I mean, it's a good episode and it gave us a great movie. But I think the episode itself is not that strong. It's Space Seed. Kirk awakes a 20th century tyrant Khan who plots to seize the ship. And that's accurate. That's pretty much what happened in that episode. But I just think the concept behind it, and I think part of the reason why it doesn't work is that in the 1960s, it probably seemed like 1998, 1999 was like a millennial away, but it really wasn't. And that's the time frame that Khan and his crew supposedly escaping Earth just after World War III, or in the process of World War III.
The eugenics wars. Yeah.
Right. So for me, it just kind of, it was okay when I first saw it as a kid, and of course in reruns afterwards, but it didn't do that much for me as far as a regular episode goes.
Yeah, it's interesting though that this episode is seminal. It is an anchor point for so much Trek lore that happens after that.
Yes. And it's still kind of going on today with Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, it was a big thing in Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had a multi-episode arc that tied
Yes.
directly into Space Seed. Yeah, and then we have a main character on Strange New Worlds who's a descendant of Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it it's played out in other Trek properties as well, although they had to play with timing because as shows were being made after the 90s, they just revised what the timeline was
Yeah.
for the eugenics wars, which is fine. It's sci-fi.
It
It's
evolves.
fantasy. It's fake. It's
Right.
fiction. It's okay. Whatever.
All right. Take the next one, then,
Anyhow,
Jeff.
A Taste of Armageddon, and this is the one where we have a planet, or excuse me, two planets. They're engaged in a big war, but war's really expensive, and so
And
what they
destructive, apparently.
and destructive. So what they did was figured out a way to make war much more economical, and they have computers running simulations, and then based on what's happening in the simulations, it tells you if you have been killed in an attack, you have to go to a place where you get zappified into atoms, I guess.
Yeah.
And we have a landing party from the Enterprise there, and they're like, wait, whoa, this is bad, especially since they're in one of the groups that's supposed to go die,
including the ship. Supposedly the Enterprise gets hit. What's the word? Because none of it's real. It's all just being figured out by
it's all simulation.
Right, simulation. That was the word I couldn't come up with. So apparently these people expected the Enterprise crew to beam down and allow themselves to be atomized because their computer told them they had been. So that was that episode. The next one, this side of, go ahead. You were going to say something. I can tell. Go ahead.
I was. I mean, yeah, this is kind of a rough episode, but this episode, I think, is at the core of what Gene Roddenberry was doing with Star Trek, and what, despite what some people think, I believe that the people at the helm of the franchise are still trying to do today, where they're doing a lot of social commentary, and like many episodes in TOS, this is very clearly an anti-war. Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're making an anti-war statement.
Right.
Vietnam War was the big thing right now. So yeah.
Oh, well, actually, I looked at the Vietnam War because there was an episode with the Klingons and the Federation both supplying weapons to a planet, and there was a pregnant woman, and all kinds of shenanigans going on. But I always thought that was more of an analogy to the Russians are going to supply weapons to one side, and the U.S. is supplying weapons to the other side.
Yeah. That's more like Korea to me, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's the wars in that era they were talking about. Yeah,
exactly. The next one is this side of paradise. A perfect colony's planet spores makes the crew want to stay forever, and this was another odd episode for me, where
that's fair.
Yeah, flowers are making people just kind of lose their minds, and eventually someone starts bringing the flowers up to the ship, and the whole ship gets infected. They all beam down, except for Kirk, who is trying to hold everything together, and it leads to an interesting fight scene. And it's like the first time we really see how strong Spock is as compared to Kirk.
Yeah. When he's like punching holes through the metal walls. And it's like, okay. This guy's
he's badass.
Badass. And we also learned that McCoy is a badass. Because there's a point where he's sitting under the tree drinking his mint julep, and the leader of the colony tells him to do something, and he's like, no. And the guy's like, well, you gotta. And McCoy lets him know in very clear terms that that he will screw him up. He will mess that man up for
Yeah.
life. He will take him down.
And he knows all
And
kinds of medical ways to do it too.
yeah, and yeah. So it's like, okay, do not screw with McCoy because he will mess you up.
Don't F with the McCoyster. All right, go
That's
ahead.
right. Let's see. Oh, that takes us to Devil in the Dark.
Great
And this
episode.
Yeah, this is a Munster episode, if you will, and
But not really.
But not really. Well, they do a great job of giving us that tension,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I think it's a well done episode. But the gist of it is, you have this mining colony. Miners are being killed by what they're describing as a rock monster. And when we finally discover what it is, we do have to deal with 1960s budgets and technologies for making a Rocky Lump Monster thing.
Should have had the B-52s do the theme song.
They were too young. Yeah. And but anyhow,
see, that's a Suno idea right there. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyhow, so we end up discovering this is not actually some evil creature. It's very intelligent, and it's trying to protect its babies.
Yes, a really, really good episode. Next one, Errand of Mercy. Actually, this is the episode I think I was talking about. Kirk and Spock try to stop a war on a planet. The Klingons are about to invade. So this was, I think, another one of those analogy shows.
Yeah, and well, the Errand of Mercy, the Federation and the Klingons are both trying to claim a planet as under their jurisdiction, and so they're trying to each is trying to show that they have the resources to take care of the planet and the people. And we were here first. Both of them are saying that, and that's where they end up having to deal with beings that are far beyond both of them.
Yep. Grab that next one.
The Alternative Factor. A being from an antimatter universe threatens the ship in a paradoxical duel. Well, I guess that's kind of right. You have this is a one where we have a scientist, Lazarus, and Lazarus from like an antimatter version or antimatter universe, so parallel universe. And this is another ultimately anti-war episode because they're both dealing with an ultimate Armageddon situation, and in the end, the positive matter versus the antimatter version realizes that the only way to save everyone,
both universes,
is to sacrifice himself and his unwilling antimatter version of himself.
Right. In that kind of space in between that they were always going into before they would switch out. And I don't know the actor's name that played Lazarus in this, but he did a really good job.
He did. And I believe this is the first instance of a parallel universe storyline in Star Trek.
Yes. Okay, the next one, this is another classic episode, The City on the Edge of Forever. Kirk, Spock, and McCoy travel to 1930s Earth to repair a timeline that had been altered by McCoy. And because McCoy gets shot up with some kind of compound accidentally, and he goes a little bit nuts and somehow manages to beam himself to the planet where the Guardian of Forever is, and goes through there, entering into 1930s Earth and changes the future. And the moment he does that, the Enterprise disappears. Everything that they know is gone. And the only reason why they haven't disappeared as well is that they're within the realm of influence, I guess you could say.
Sure.
of the Guardian of Forever. So Kirk and Spock have to go into the Guardian of Forever and try to stop McCoy from doing whatever it was he was going to do. And if you haven't seen this episode, I don't want to say too much about it, but it does feature a very young Joan Collins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the first times in the series. And I don't really count the Android episode as this, but it's the first time in the series where you really see consequences to actions that crew members take, and that the things that they have to do to make things right, even if it goes against what they personally want or believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a classic episode.
It's done really well. If you ever have the opportunity to read the comic book adaptation of Harlan Ellison's original script for this, it's really fascinating and interesting. And I appreciate why Gene Roddenberry ultimately changed it, because it deals with drug addiction and and that was something that in Gene Roddenberry's mind would not have been part of the Star Trek future.
Right. Well, why don't you grab that last one, and then we'll go into our hits and misses.
Okay. Operation Annihilate. This is the one that I call the Flying Pepperoni episode.
Yes. Go ahead.
So Enterprise has to go to a planet where there's like no contact anymore. And there's like this whole Federation colony there, lots of people, including Captain Kirk's brother, Sam. And Sam, who is a recurring character in Strange New Worlds. And what they find when they get to the planet is that nearly everyone is dead. They find 2 survivors, and Kirk's sister-in-law and nephew,
right?
And everyone else is dead. Spock gets attacked by the flying pepperoni that killed everyone else, and so now we have a living host that's infected with the pepperoni monsters, so they can come up with a fix. They ultimately do, but flying pepperoni,
right? Flying pepperoni. Okay, well, so that's the entire first season, with our own, let's just say, unique interpretation of what those episodes were all about. And everyone, please remember this episode is sponsored by Phaser Flakes. Makes you into pure energy.
Pure energy.
Yeah, find it at a grocery store near you. With these 29 episodes, and it's weird, in the days of streaming, if you get 10 to 12 episodes, that's looked at as like a whole season. But back then, this was actually, even for the 60s, a really large amount of episodes for a single season. Most of them were like in the 24 to 26 episode range. This was 29 episodes. So they had the cost of special effects. Oh yeah. Let's talk about the ones that you really liked from this season. What's your first one? I'm going to talk about my favorites in airing order as opposed to favorite versus not favorite. So one of my favorites actually is Where No Man Has Gone Before, because I really enjoy getting to look at I enjoyed the story, but then getting to see what did Trek look like with sort of the crew we were going to have before it really came together and they got the funding. Because this was just a new episode done with the sets that had been made for the cage. Right. And remember as well that there was a question, or at least there's been a question posited, who was actually the first officer? Was it Mr. Spock or was it Gary Mitchell? And it's never really been answered. And at the end of this episode, it doesn't matter because Gary Mitchell's dead.
Right. Yeah. And so, Anyhow, I think it's a really interesting episode and a good story too. So it's one of my favorites.
Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing you did, and I'll go by airing order. My first really good episode, in my opinion, from the first season was Charlie X, the teenage boy with,
that's a good one too.
with the reality warping powers. Some of the things that they did were truly horrific, with like the woman coming around a corner without a face at all.
Oh yeah.
And, and just how he went from being just so grateful to getting away from the circumstances that he was in to so quickly using his powers to become a true monster. And the fact that he went, and within the relatively short amount of time, he became this monster. And to me, it was a really good early episode. What's your next one?
All right. I'm going to go with Mud's Women.
And I will go with that one as well, as far as airing order goes. Go ahead.
Yeah. First, the character of Harry Mudd, I think is really interesting. And I like that it's versatile enough that you could have this kind of syrupy sleaze snake oil salesman character. But then later on, that same character, and it's still believable as the same character, can be comedic.
Yes. And I was just thinking about this. What other episode he might have done well in? Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah. Instead of Cyrano Jones,
right?
Have him.
Right.
That would have been fun too. And I'm glad they didn't, though, because I think it would have detracted from the rest of what they're doing in the episode.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
He absolutely could have been used in lieu of Cyrano Jones. But no, I like the whole thing they're doing with how people are pressured into having to project a specific image based on society. And the harms that go along with that.
Yes,
I mean, they're clearly making a very big social statement here, and it totally works.
It does work. My next favorite episode is Dagger of the Mind, which is where they go and they visit the planet, and they've got that machine that's supposed to rehabilitate. And the way that they kind of showed it, like when Kirk is sitting in the chair, and there's the psychologist from the Enterprise that's kind of putting images,
the happy
thoughts into
in his
mind. Right. And then when the doctor takes over and starts doing the same thing, but turning it around to where it's like, oh, you want this woman so bad, and now she's gone. And he immediately turns it up to 10. And Kirk is just like losing his mind in the chair right away. And the ending of it, it is. And the ending of it where the doctor falls into the chair while it's on, but there's nobody at the controls, and it like completely wipes his mind.
Yeah, it would be very easy for me to put this as one of my favorites as well, but I know we're trying to limit how many favorites we have.
Yeah, just 5.
So this one gets honorable mention for me. But okay, so I'm going to pick Menagerie, and that's a 2-parter, so I'll pick both as one episode.
Sure. Fair enough.
I really like getting to see the Cage content, and the Cage. If you've never watched the Cage, that's a really interesting
episode. As a standalone, if you can find it.
Yeah. Well, if you have a subscription to Paramount, The Cage is one of the episodes that you can see.
I'm going to have to check that out. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and you get to see part of Spock that we never see anywhere else. Like when Spock ends up having to take control of the Enterprise and start making command decisions, and they are not popular decisions, but they're also the right decisions. But anyhow, just the getting to see the Cage, the Pike storyline, and I wish that Jeffrey Hunter had been available so that he could have actually acted in this episode, but he just simply was not available. So
Yeah.
they put someone else in, and then did the whole thing with making him unable to speak,
Right.
so that it would
Right.
work.
And the very last bit where they show him kind of walking away with the woman, I can't remember her name, and kind of
Vina.
smiling and waving. It was from like very, very far away. So you could not tell that was not Jeffrey Hunter.
So yeah, well done.
Okay.
Yep.
My next one for a favorite, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but I really loved this episode. And it was the alternative factor with the matter and antimatter universes, with Lazarus going in between, and the decisions that Lazarus makes to save both universes, the ultimate self-sacrifice, to be locked forever in with basically a madman. So I thought that was a really, really well done episode. I really liked it.
That's a really good episode. Yep. That gets honorable mention for me as well.
Okay. What's your next one?
I'm going to go with the Galileo 7.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I know that it's straight up a rewrite of a movie, a World War II movie. They straight up admitted that, like, not even admitted. It was like, yeah, this is what we did with this episode.
Yeah.
And they were just
so well
very
done.
open with it. It's a very well done episode. Getting to see Spock in an element where he has to completely rethink how to just do what he does, and watching that process, you would think, based on how a lot of TV shows are written in the 1960s, that would have been done in a very superficial way, but it wasn't. They
well
really
written and really well acted.
Yeah, I just thought it was a great episode.
My very last one is The City on the Edge of Forever, with,
Same.
of course, Edith Keeler, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy traveling to 1930s Earth. There was even quite a bit of comedy in this, like when the cop comes up to him and he says, obviously my friend's got his head caught in a mechanical rice picker, which is trying to explain Spock's Vulcan ears. And even Spock is helping. He's like, maybe the accident that happened when I was a child. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And of course, that belays the very serious nature of the episode later on. But it was one of those episodes that even after it's off makes you just kind of go, huh, well, maybe, it went beyond the actual episode itself. And
Yeah.
what Kirk says at the very end, with the Guardian saying, I can be your gateway to, to history and all of this stuff. And Kirk just kind of says, let's get the hell out of here. And in 1967, to have a character say hell on national TV.
And to have your star, your lead character, well, in this case, one of your lead characters, lose. The good, because the good guy always wins in 1960s TV, but not here. The good guy, he lost, and he lost big time. But the sacrifice that he made saves the timeline.
Yes, so it saves everybody. Did you have one more favorite, or are we going to get into our eh-ehs?
That was my favorite.
Okay, so there's our 5 favorites. For me, it was, let me get back to it. Charlie X, Mud's Women, Dagger of the Mind, The Alternative Factor, and The City on the Edge of Forever. What was yours, Jeff?
Okay. Mine was Where No Man Has Gone Before, Mud's Women, The Menageries Part 1 and 2, Galileo 7, and The City on the Edge of Forever.
All right, now let's get in. And it was easy for me to find the episodes that I thought were outstanding. Trying to find 5 that I thought were just, not great was much harder, because this is a very strong season. So
it is. When I looked at the episode list, even though I've seen all of these episodes countless times over the years, it really hadn't hit just how strong this first season is.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of pain in this one too.
Okay, well, why don't you start with your first, what the hell are they doing here episode?
All right. Oh, man, there's actually it's difficult. Okay, let me just start at the top and look at the list and figure out where I need to start for the bad ones.
Okay. But you want me to go first then?
No, I can go first.
Okay.
And the naked time, I actually had a difficult time with that. Starting with the very premise of the episode. And I read a thing later on about the episode where the actor who played the crewman on the away team that brings the contagion back aboard the Enterprise, they go to shoot the scene. He's like, I can't do that because this makes no sense. There's no reason why this trained professional would take off part of his protection suit and expose himself to the contagion.
Yeah.
And the director ultimately said, it doesn't matter. It has to happen for the rest of the episode to work. So do the stupid thing so the episode can work. And yeah, there is just enough in this episode to make me go, oh, come on. Even as a kid, I was like,
yeah,
huh.
Why the hell would he do that?
Yeah, and then even when they do the follow-up to it, The Naked Now in Next Generation, which was their second episode, I'm like, wow, if this is what they're going to do with Next Generation, we're going to have a problem.
Wait until we get to first season of Next Generation, because it's going to be like, the hard part is going to be finding
the good episodes. Yeah. But at least it'll be easier than finding 5 good episodes from the first season of Deep Space Nine. That was a freaking dumpster fire.
Yeah, it really was.
I'm glad it didn't get canceled, but yeah. Okay. Yes, you.
First season of Deep Space Nine, and it did get, considering the rest of that series, it got so much better. But we'll talk about that if assuming that we get to that. For me, I was kind of stuck to pick my first one in order of appearance. The very first one that I thought about was The Man Trap, but I ended up going with Conscience of the King, where Kirk suspects the traveling actor is a mass murdering dictator. To me, it just didn't ring true with everything that we know about biometrics and being able to identify through DNA and all the rest of that today. Even back then, it seemed to me like, well, there would have to be a way other than just looking at a picture of the guy to say, this is the governor that killed half the planet's population. But you have to kind of throw that out the window and accept the rest of it. This was not a good episode for me.
It's an episode that doesn't age well.
No.
And part of that's because it was written with the scientific knowledge of the day. And that's how all these shows get written. And with the speculative knowledge they had at this point, I don't think anyone would have come up with the idea of, let's do genetic profiling on the person.
Or even fingerprints.
Yeah. But even still, okay, fingerprints would have worked. But even now, we know in hindsight, fingerprinting actually doesn't work because there's literally no evidence to show that fingerprints are unique. It's just an assumption we're making. And anyhow, but that's not the point. The point, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that episode. So what was your next one?
I actually have a let's see. So I started with Naked Time, and I really want to pick Miri, but it gets honorable mention. And I'm going to go right to Shore Leave.
Let me find that. That's one of mine too. Go ahead.
Okay, so shore leave. This is the one where Enterprise beams down to a planet that they discover is a planet where their thoughts become realities, and it goes horribly wrong, and people are getting like McCoy even gets impaled by a knight, a jousting knight.
Oh yeah. I was trying to remember how he was supposedly killed in that episode.
Yeah, and and in many ways, it's sort of like Westworld in space,
Yeah.
and there there's so many great concepts in here, and yet it is done in a
It's
way
clumsy.
that it's very clumsy. Thank you. It's clumsy. And then even in the end, when they figure out, oh, this is what's happening on the planet, and it's actually like a shore leave planet, and this will be great. Everyone can come use it. You know what? You just had people go through some of the worst trauma they could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And with a flip of a switch, now you're like, oh, it's okay. Let's all go play.
Yeah. It's now the intergalactic Disneyland. The next one that I didn't particularly care for, even though it's a well-liked episode in a lot of circles, is Return of the Archons, the Landru, the Landru episode.
Yeah.
It got on my nerves, because they really pushed the whole kind of mind control thing that was going on with Landru and the population. And it just seemed to be overdone and not particularly well written, in my opinion, even though, what they did in Lower Decks, though, was brilliant. When they brought it back for Lower Decks, that was good. I like that. But again, it was like a throwaway line in Lower Decks, which is really all it deserved, in my opinion, for this episode.
Yeah. And I will always remember Captain Freeman saying, "Don't make me contradict you into blowing yourself up again."
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be
sorry.
good.
I'll be good. Yeah.
Oh, so good. It's Lower Decks. I can't wait until we start doing Lower Decks. What's your next one?
My next one is oh man, this is actually kind of difficult. Because I'm at the point now where I'm looking at episodes and there are it's like there's some bad stuff, but I think I've already hit all the stuff that's actually really bad in the season. And now it's which episodes do I like the least?
Right. Which I knew that was where this was going to go. And season 2 is going to be even harder than that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I mean, part of me wants to choose Arena because the Gorn is so slow. But it's actually, I mean, there's a lot of really interesting stuff that's happening in the episode.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to pick Court Martial, except that's actually a really well done episode.
Yeah.
So I can't pick that. And I mean, okay, maybe Return of the Archons for me as well, because in the end, it's actually kind of a silly episode. And it also sets up the trope of Kirk is smarter than a computer, and he can have a computer think itself to death.
Right.
So
that never happened after that, though.
Let's see. I think it happened in literally every single season.
Yeah, it kind of did. It kind of did. The next one I have, A Taste of Armageddon, which is the one with the two worlds waging war and the people voluntarily go into a disintegrator. I mean, I get the message that they were trying to convey with this, but the fact that the Enterprise is just so technologically advanced more than either one of these planets, and that if this had been the mirror universe, the episode would have lasted about 5 minutes. It would have been like, okay, well, if you don't do what we want, we're going to do these terrible things. And the mirror universe, Spock or McCoy would be like, So you're holding our captain hostage, huh? Okay. Photon torpedo, the exact location where the captain is. And that would have been the end of the episode right there.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't particularly care for this episode. It just seemed kind of pointless.
Okay, this is an episode for me because I'm going to go with you on Taste of Armageddon, but not because I don't like the episode. It's because it's one of the episodes that I don't like as much as the others.
Right.
I really like the message they're going for, and I enjoyed the parallel universe aspect of this, and that in both universes the same
Oh no,
person.
you're thinking of the Lazarus. That was.
Oh crap! Wait. Oh right. Sorry, I'm mixing up my episodes. All right, we'll leave.
Yeah,
we'll leave Lazarus alone. Taste of Armageddon.
That was actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, and actually, and I do like the Taste of Armageddon.
Okay.
But I'm just mixing up my episodes here because there's so many of them. So back to Taste of Armageddon. This is the one where your number's up because the computer said so. And it just I feel like the execution of the episode could have been better. And like I said, I don't dislike the episode. It's just not one of my favorites.
Right. And the whole war waging, at some point, both sides have the same weaponry, because you can't sit there and say, oh, well, we've developed this weapon that will, turn your planet inside out and killing everyone, because then the other side says, well, we haven't seen that happen, so you can't prove that it happened. So therefore, we're going to ignore the fact that you said you could do that. So it was one of those kinds of things where the war would have gone on forever, because both sides didn't want to destroy their own planets, but they were perfectly capable of, sending their population into nothingness. Which again reminds me that, remember, our sponsor for this week is Phaser Flakes.
Oh, yeah. All right. So
I got to come up with one of those for each one of these episodes, I think. But okay, go ahead.
Now you're committed. All right. So everything you just listed off about what it is that was bothering you about this episode plays into exactly why it was an amazing allegory for the Cold War, which is when this episode came out.
Yeah, I would go along with that. Do you want me to just go ahead and say my last one? I don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Any more? Do you have any more, or was that?
I do have one more.
It? Okay, go ahead. You do that one.
All right. So my last one is Operation Annihilate, because it's the concept is really interesting. Like, we're out in space or on other planets. There's things that we don't understand, and we have to deal with just naturally occurring life forms that might be very hazardous to us. Okay, that concept is really interesting. The implementation here, ultimately, I love the concept. I didn't enjoy the execution as much as I could have. I don't hate the episode. It's just not among my favorites of the season.
What was it you called the monsters in that episode?
The flying pepperoni.
Okay, the one that I've heard, I just remembered this. The one that I'd heard was plastic space vomit.
Oh yeah, that totally works too.
That totally works too. All right, I've got one more for this season that I didn't it wasn't one of my favorite episodes, and it was This Side of Paradise. The perfect colonies, planet spores, make the crew want to stay forever. It just didn't do much for me as an episode. And so, and almost every single one of these episodes in the first season is one of those where, you're watching TV and you're flipping through channels, especially in the 70s or 80s. And a Star Trek episode is on, UHF channel 20 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, oh, it's from the first season or whatever. Oh, I remember this episode. This is great. I'm going to watch it. And you stop and you watch it. Ones like Taste of Armageddon and This Side of Paradise were the ones that would be like, let's see what else is on. you know, and I would skip past it. And I might still watch it, but only if there wasn't something better on.
You know, This Side of Paradise, I'll always watch it when it comes on. And you're right, it's not as strong as some of the other episodes, but I like the Kirk Spock fight.
Yeah, that's like my favorite bit.
And I like Badass McCoy.
Badass
and
McCoy. Bam, we call him.
Bam. And I like how Kirk realizes what the fix is because he's been infected,
right?
And but he's still conflicted. And when he realizes that it's his anger that breaks the spell, if you will, and then has to figure out how to get the only other person he knows that can really help him, which is Spock, out of it. I like that. Also, we get to see a close-up of the control face of a communicator. And
yes,
that episode's the first time I remember seeing that. And for me, that was so cool as a kid to get to see that.
That is going to do it for the episodes and the things that we wanted to talk about this week. Now, Jeff, if people wanted to contact you and find out more about your Star Trek fetishes and all the rest of that and the things that you like to talk about, how would they do that?
Well, first they'd have to open hailing frequencies, and then they could. Do you like how I did that?
Yeah.
Then check out my blogs, jeffgammett.com.
Wait, hold on. Hailing frequencies, is that a real thing that you're involved in? Or is that just something you just made up?
Oh, no. Kirk and Uhura, it's open hailing frequencies open, Captain. And
okay. Okay. Never mind. I thought, okay.
But yes, you're right. It's also a podcast.
Oh, is it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not on that podcast. Anyhow, jeffgammett.com, freshbrewtales.com, jgammet on the social medias, and I'll pick 2 shows for you. Retro Rewatch, which seems totally appropriate because that's Patrice Brendamore and I are talking about Stargate SG-1, and The Context Machine, show I do with Brian Chaffin because Brian's a big Star Trek fan too. So there we go. I tied it all together into sci-fi.
If you wanted to get hold of me, of course, you can dial the number that you see on the bottom of the screen, 703-828-4677. I don't have a particular email address for this show, but you can always use the one that we use for the G-Men show, which is gmenshow@icloud.com. Over on the socials, I'm on most of them as either VertShark or MacParrot, sometimes both in the same social media space.
Mm-hmm.
And just so that everyone can hear about it one more time, Jeff, why don't you give us our tagline for our sponsor this week?
Phaser Flakes makes you into pure energy, pure energy.
Yeah. So that's our sponsor for this week, Phaser Flakes. Thank you all so very, very much for watching Jeff and I here on Warp Speed Weirdos. We're not really doing this on a regularly scheduled kind of basis. We'll see how things go. I really enjoy doing this show. And the fact that there are so many Star Trek episodes and themes that we can go into, we could do this for like a really, really long time. So
we could.
I think that is going to do it for this week. Do you have any closing thoughts there, Jeff?
I think it's okay for us to close the shuttlecraft hangar bays and go back to warp speed.
I think so too. We'll see you all next time here on Warp Speed Weirdos. Thanks.
2 weirdos, 1 starship mic, 1 last late night, drifting out of sight. Warp Speed Weirdos, roll credits, take it slow. Warp Speed Weirdos, see you where the Trekkies go.
I've just first rate